what year would you both say was the peak of your careers?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. What year was the
tough,
peak?
Right?
Man,
for you,
tough,
do you feel like everything blends into one?
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know. I mean, it's my peak, I don't know. If you ask me what I feel like was my best season that I had, where I felt the most complete as a basketball player, I would say 2018, 2017-18 season. I felt like I could do no wrong out there on the basketball floor. Offensively, defensively, I felt no flaws in my game. I felt like every time I stepped out on the floor, I really could do everything I wanted to do. All three levels, defensively, guard all three levels. I mean, I still feel that way, but it was just another level of that, you know, in 2017-18, you know, with the team that we had, and you know, and so it was just, yeah, that season right there, I felt like that was probably my most complete, you know, season. I played all 82 games, I believe, that year. And then if you include the playoffs, I played over 100 games. I didn't miss one game that season. So a lot of factors went into that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there was more than that year where you could do no wrong on the basketball court. I'll accept your answer. I'll accept your answer. For me, it's a tricky one. I would think actually the year after my MVPs, so 04, 05, 05, 06, 06, 07, I think was like raw box score, numerically my best year. I felt in total command, but it's tough. Like when you dive into the advanced stats, you know, it could be a totally different answer. But like I felt like that was the year I had the most kind of the most just juice for it, and skill and acumen and command. So that would probably be my year, I would say.
Nice.
All right, from Andrew Mesquita on Instagram, LeBron, please tell us how good Derrick Rose was pre-injuries through all the battles you've had with him on the court. I feel like folks forget how great he was in Chicago.
Listen, Andrew Mesquita, I hope, and I hope dearly, people have not forgot about Derrick Rose. One of the most explosive players that I've ever played, one of the most competitive players I ever played. Injuries suck. They really do. And he's one of those examples. We have a lot of examples in our sport, obviously, over the years, since this game has been introduced. But the battles that I had, you know, against D Rose when I was in Miami, when I went back to Cleveland, the guy, I think he's the youngest, if people don't know, he's the youngest MVP in our league's history. And what he meant for the Chicago Bulls, he meant even more for the city of Chicago in whole. And he's a legend, he's a great, and we all love Derrick Rose. If you have ever played basketball, have ever been a part of our league, there's not one bad thing people can say about Derrick Rose. So he was an unbelievable competitor. So we love Derrick Rose, man.
Very, very well said. What a player, leader. Had a great, I thought also, like, you know, we know the explosiveness, we know he could score, we know he became I think an excellent playmaker, but he had a great kind of, he had a great poise about him too. You know, I think he was, the way he led his teams was, you could tell the guys followed him, they loved him, they cared about him, and that connective tissue is so important. So other than his peak being shortened by injury, you know, his level was all time.
Yes, sir. All right, the next one. At Flix2013 on YouTube. Steve, what was the most surprising challenge as a head coach, and would you ever pursue it again?
I don't think I would pursue it again. You know, it was a unique situation where they came to me and said they, you know, could use my help with this group, and was I up for it? And so that was a great moment, a great journey. You know, unfortunately, we were always hurt. Our big three played 16 games together in over 2 years. So we never really got to see the finish line in a lot of ways, but it was a great experience. What did I learn? One of the things I think that I didn't realize before coaching, there's a lot, but one of the things that I think was interesting was, as a head coach in today's NBA, you are like, in a way, the CEO of a startup, in that you're bringing in a new system and culture to like 60 people. It's not just 12 players.
Right.
First of all, there's 15 players and two ways. Right? There's 9 coaches, so including you, there could be 9, 10, 11 coaches, who knows, on a staff. There's 5 in the video room, right? There's 10 on the performance team, physios, trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, sports science. Then you have the front office. You have to be in lockstep with the GMs, assistant GMs. There's an analytics department. It might be 3, 4, 5 people in the analytics department that you're constantly interfacing with. So you add it up, if there's 50, 60 people, there's a lot more management skills that come into it, especially maybe as a young coach trying to build something. You end up putting out a lot of fires, or trying to be connective tissue, or spending your time in things that you didn't necessarily expect when you accept a coaching position. So I think that's something that in today's NBA has made coaching unlike it's ever been in any era. I think it's made it more difficult in many ways, even though you would think by having more people it's gotten better. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think when teams get themselves cemented, they build that culture, they build that system, the flow can make it easier, and you have more brains, you have more human capital. But as you are building it and trying to settle in what is our best system, what is our best process, how can we build out our all the different departments, performance, analytics, all those things. I haven't even mentioned players very often, right? So like there is a lot going on. You add to a player development. I think that's probably where I would say I was unaware of how tricky that balance was and how much time that took.
So basically, Steve is not going back to coaching guys.
This will be the last. The run of mind the game to coach it ends with JJ.
All right, we got a guy. I think it's a guy. It could be a guy or a girl, but off IG at 856.dyl_. Ask the both of us, what are some of the best lessons you've learned from basketball that you apply in everyday life?
Man, we say this a lot. Sport teaches us so much about life. Like you and I both learned so much from being in the fire. I think we learn, we want our kids to play sports because we know what they'll learn being on a team or having to, in an individual sport, having to stick to a routine and game plan, winning, losing, collaborating. So for me, the things that jump out, just sports in general, and then you talk about playing at the highest level. Sports in general, I think you learn character. You learn, to be reliable, for people to depend on you, for you to know what it means to work hard and work for the team. I think when you get to the highest level and you're in the arena, as they say, and everyone's ready to critique, or the pressure or the lights are brightest, you learn about resilience.
Yep.
You learn about being classy in defeat. You learn about getting up the next day, licking your wounds and doing it even harder, like that resilience, I think. For me, I think that's the biggest thing, is being able to accept your successes and failures in the same vein. Never too high, never too low, stay with your process and stick to the script. So that for me is something I can transfer to other areas of my life.
Yeah. I piggyback what you just said on the process, just like, understanding the process and, being patient, understanding that things just not gonna happen overnight, and you have to work towards whatever that is. You can, in basketball, working towards wanting to be great, and you can accommodate to life and, understanding that relationships does not just happen overnight. It's about every day applying and every day working towards it, and for me, as, being a leader of so many different franchises in my career and so many different men, understanding that how to get the most out of players, and being able to understand that the communication that you have with one player doesn't mean that you can communicate that to get the most out of this player the same way. And, I've been able to, use that type of leadership into my household of now having kids, understanding, Bronny and Bryce and Zuri, they're all different. Yeah, yes, they're all my kids, but how I talk to Bronny may be different than how I talk to Bryce. How I talk to Zuri may be different from how I talk to Bronny if I want to get the most out of them. So, sports has allowed me to kind of use, my, I guess, leadership and my, where I've been in my career to kind of take some of those things into my household as well, but also just understanding that, it's all about the process, and you can't just think it's going to happen overnight. You have to go through things. Like we talk about them. It almost comes up in every episode about how the best teacher in life is experience, and that's how you learn from it. That's how you learn from it.
It's a great answer. It's just funny, right? Like when you're a kid, it's so hard to understand, like, I want to be great at something. This is a 10 to 50-year commitment. Right. Like they're like, well, I want to be good tomorrow.
Right.
Next week. Whereas it's like, no, to really, really be great at something and to kind of be in harmony with that thing is like a long-term commitment and a slow burn. So, yeah, I love your answer there. Thank you to our partner, Alexa Plus. In basketball, the best plays happen when everything flows naturally. That's exactly what I love about the all-new Alexa Plus, your smart, proactive AI assistant. Chatting with Alexa Plus is as easy as talking to a teammate. You can flow effortlessly between topics, from checking your schedule to ordering groceries. It's like having a personal assistant that anticipates your every move. What really impresses me is how it puts thousands of services to work for you. Whether I'm controlling my smart home, planning my day, or finding the perfect restaurant, Alexa Plus handles it all. The best part? It learns your preferences, creating a personalized experience that's tailored just for you. And it's always ready when you need it, across Echo devices, Fire TV, or any compatible tech in your lineup. Want to see how Alexa Plus can change your game? Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa. Planning your next getaway? Looking for a new favorite vacation spot? There's one destination that I keep seeing popping up everywhere: Dubai. Let's say you want to spend your time relaxing at a nice resort or an even nicer beach, bonding with your loved ones. Dubai has something for everyone, regardless of your budget, and it's safe and secure. Great for the whole family. Dubai is definitely on my short list of places to go. I'd love to go up the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, to get in the red dunes, or to take part in some of the water sport and enjoy that great weather. With so many activities to choose from discovering natural attractions and local culture to exploring luxury shopping options and nightlife. If you're a foodie, you'll find a diverse culinary scene filled with authentic cuisine and Michelin star restaurants. Dubai has it all. Sure, it's a little farther than, let's say, Europe, but when you fly Emirates, does it matter? Your Dubai trip starts the moment you board the aircraft. You'll fly better no matter which cabin you choose, and as the global airline partner of the NBA, they stream live NBA games. Plus, you get access to player profiles, documentaries, and more, so you can keep up with what's happening in the league at 40,000 feet in the air. How cool is that? Go to Emirates.com to book your trip now. I wanted to talk about offensive rebounding a little bit. 2021, the league was offensive rebounding at a 22% clip. This year, it's gone up every year, more or less, and this year, 27% offensive rebounding percentage league-wide, which is the highest since 2012. Have you noticed this trend?
I didn't notice the numbers, but you do notice a lot more teams crashing, trying to get extra possessions. And I think the reason is that because there are so many threes that's being shot now, and there's going to be a lot of long rebounds or a lot of, it's going to be a lot of missed shots. There's the team shooting 40 and 50 sometimes, at one point, Boston was shooting, they got 60 up a game. And, if you're shooting, 35% as a team, or if you happen to have a great shooting team and you're shooting in the 40s, that means there's 45% left of offensive reboundings to actually, you know, to take advantage of if you're able to get that, you know. So, yes, you definitely, you can sense it down on the court that if you're not checking for your guy, you know, when a shot goes up, you know, then, and it's not just, it used to be just the bigs, you know. It used to be just the bigs and some, you know, some of the forwards, but now there's point guards running in there, you know, and there's two guards running there. There's everybody is crashing and creating extra possessions.
You know, it felt like 5 years ago even, there was like two camps. There was like the teams that just got back on the shot, tried to build their defense, not give up transition points. And there was the teams that crashed. And it felt a little bit more like it was personnel based. Like, do we have offensive rebounders? Let's go crash, let's get extra possessions. You know, if we don't have offensive rebounders, I don't know that we want to crash and give up transition opportunities or put people in a position where they can't get back. The analytics have been proving that offensive rebounding can stop transition opportunities. One, you could give up a rebound and get an extra possession, therefore they don't get transition, obviously. But two, it crowds that painted area, that runway, I like to call it, for someone to get an outlet and start the break. So I think what's happened is a lot of teams are recognizing, well, if it's going to help our defensive transition and it could give us extra possessions,
then why not go for it?
It feels like more and more teams are going for it, right? Or like, let's go. Now, maybe everyone has different rules. Like, you're not going for lost causes.
Right.
Maybe the corner guys are running through the elbows. Maybe certain guys just have the green light. But the numbers are going up, and it's been a huge part of Houston's play. The Knicks, Detroit, all great offensive rebounding teams. But Houston is the #1 offensive team in the league right now. But on their first attempt, I think they're 10, 11, 12. They're somewhere like above average. But when you add into it that they're at 37% offensive rebounding rate at the time of recording here today, like, that's insane. And Steven Adams is getting over 1 in 4 offensive rebounds when he's on the court. So 1 in 4 misses, Steven Adams is getting that thing. And to go through like the analytics again is like our highest values are layups, you know, free throws, then offensive rebounds, because offensive rebounds lead to more layups, more free throws,
or kick out threes.
Kick out threes. Right? So you can see the value of Steven Adams to that offense when we don't really consider him an offensive player.
Right, and you understand that. I mean, you know, as a competitor, and you know, as an opposing team, that if you play Houston, one of the main focuses, you know, is Steven Adams. You know, you try to.
How many cats going to go down there, right?
You need the whole team plus the bench and the coaching staff and your security team to box him out. The strongest guy. Right? Oh my God, he's ridiculously strong. You can't box him out with 2 people. You need 3 or 4 guys around him.
And then other guys get an opportunity, right? Because you got to double, triple him on the glass.
Yep.
Like, he puts himself in a position where he can make a play on the ball even if 3 guys are trying to box him out. And so then, of course, drawing that much attention, the next 1 or 2 guys coming in's got a chance of that.
Exactly.
So, incredible impact. I think it's a pretty cool adjustment. Like, the game is constantly evolving. We're constantly trying to find new ways and seeing the league kind of push these boundaries. You know, Houston at this moment, time of recording, you know, they're flirting with the highest offensive rebounding rate, you know, this century. So it is, and they're the #1 offense.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of these conversations are contextual. They're about personnel.
Right.
But I think seeing a league-wide jump is always kind of fun to kind of dive in and see what's happening.
Yeah, and let's see how it continues to unfold, you know, throughout the course of the season. And but it's definitely, you know, to the start of the season, it's always great to see how, you know, new dynamics and what's happening in the league today, what's changed a little bit. So let's see how it continues to unfold.
For sure. Here's one from Nylon25_Ian/X, or I guess that's from X maybe. After a month into the season, what do you think contributed to the growth of AR? Do you think this is his summer work, or do you think that was right there when he left off and he just picked up?
I just think AR has picked up exactly where he left off of. The confidence. He's also healthier this year than he was last year, and I know he kind of set out a couple games this year, but last year he was dealing with a toe issue late in the season. So he came into the season a lot healthier, but also just the confidence, understanding that his role is going to continue to pick up. more usage rate, more responsibility. He's not just one of the guys; he's one of the guy, on our team, and he wants that responsibility. So, I think the coaching staff and JJ knew it wasn't too far-fetched to give him more responsibility, and he's just taking full advantage of it. The guy he plays golf and he plays basketball. That's him. He has time and he puts the work in, and then he goes on a golf course and clears his mind, and then he plays basketball and he clears his mind. And I think, the guy is he's just a great dude, man. And I'm so happy for all his success so far in his career.
Yeah, I mean, man, that dude is fun to watch. I'm curious, I'm so curious, having not known him in high school or college, what this growth has been like. I know he didn't get drafted, but maybe he kind of, in a way, worked it out to not be drafted.
Right, right.
Maybe he was a second round pick. Incredibly, incredibly fun to watch, and a guy that can do it at all three levels and play make for teammates. It's just cool to see people grow and get opportunities, make the most of them. And I also hear he can shoot a low score on the golf.
Yeah, he's damn good. Yeah, he's damn good. I think we got time for two more. I'll start off with this one.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one right here. Okay. YouTube, from YouTube, how do you say this? Okay, DH Drew Casteru 6401. Drew Casteru 6401 from YouTube, for the both of us. If you could take one skill set that the other has and add it to your bag, what will it be?
Where do I start? You want me to go first?
No, I'll go first. Definitely your hezzy pull, for sure, off the bounce. How efficient you was, no matter right hand, left hand, you were so fluent with this hezzy, getting right to the pocket. Yeah, it would be the ball handling into the hezzy pull, for sure. That's not even a question when it comes to what I would take from you.
Thank you. I mean, the thing that from your game that is just so far from mine is just your athleticism. Like one of the greatest athletes, movers, size, strength, to have that combination of speed, agility, strength, coordination, and then to be able to do all the stuff that, to score, to pass, to dissect. But so that combination of athleticism, what you could do in transition, what you could do in bully ball, what you could do in passing over people, you just added a whole matrix to the game that I could never even touch. Right? I could never touch that with just that ability that you were able to then put into the game of basketball. It's one thing to be an elite athlete, it's another thing then to use your athleticism to affect the game in multiple ways: defense, offense, transition, passing, scoring, bully ball, downhill drives, like that. Man, I can't even imagine what it would be like to move the way you move.
Oh man, don't make me blush. Thank you. Don't make me blush.
Nah, you're allowed to blush. I'll mind the game. The American Express Platinum Card is now better than ever with updated benefits to help you unlock unforgettable experiences. You can access the largest global airport lounge network and global hotel program with a suite of benefits as compared to other credit card programs. Plus, with dining benefits at over 10,000 US Resi restaurants and exclusive access to unique experiences worldwide, Platinum membership means you can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. There's nothing like being there in person, cheering with the crowd and hearing your favorite artist play that song. When you're with Amex Platinum, those experiences can become even more unique. With access to curated events and experiences, you can get the most out of your favorite events and create memories that will last long after the lights go down. With an array of premium travel, dining, and entertainment benefits, all backed by American Express's award-winning service, Platinum membership brings experiences to a whole new level. It's true what they say, there's nothing like Platinum. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withplatinum. Now a word from our director, Jason, from one of our sponsors, DraftKings.
This episode is sponsored in partnership with DraftKings. The NBA season's intensity keeps heating up, and our friends at DraftKings make the games even more exciting. Now, I've been loving their app lately, especially tracking all the player props in real time. And new customers, listen up. Bet just $5 and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Minimum odds of -500 required. DraftKings same-game parlays let you combine multiple bets from the same game for a chance at even bigger payouts. Their live betting feature enables wagering on player props and games as the action unfolds. And if sports betting isn't available in your state, check out DraftKings Pick 6, where you can compete for cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code MIND when you sign up. New customers turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
All right, let me look. Should I think of one more? Oh, how about this one? Lakers lead on X. Do you think you have to master the mid-range to be a reliable first option in the playoffs?
No, I don't think you have to master the mid game to be a reliable first option. But I do know that you cannot abandon the mid range in the postseason. You know, and I know our throughout the course of the regular season, we want a lot of threes, layups, dunks, free throws. But when the playoffs happen and the lanes are even more packed and you're trying to manage the best shot that you can get, to have a guy or a couple guys that can hit the mid range at a very inefficient way. I mean, we saw what OKC did last year in the postseason. We saw what Indiana did. We see with Jalen Brunson and the Knicks be able to accomplish. To have someone that can hit the mid-range shot in the postseason is a very, very efficient shot, especially in the postseason. So you don't have to be someone that master it to be the number one option. And I know we have Shea, who is definitely a number one option, but it's not definite, but you cannot abandon it, I would say.
100%. Yeah, I think it's the totality, right, of what you bring to the table. Like, but to your point, like the mid-range has to be a facet of your game because people are trying to take away everything else. They're going to try to take away rim attempts. They're going to try to take away threes. So where's the space? It's going to be in opportunities to get to a spot in the mid-range. That's just the reality. They're going to run people off the line. They're going to funnel people inside the line. Then they're going to come to help. And we saw it, right? We saw the symbiotic nature of good teams is that they have players that create space for the best player. For the best player, if he's got to go one-on-one, his guy's going to be like, I'm not letting him get his rhythm and hit a three here. So I'm going to get up into him, I'm going to force him inside the line and make him make something tough and contested. So at the end of the day, if your teammates make space for you and you have the skill to get to that, it's incredibly valuable in the playoffs and almost, like you said, necessary. There is no way around it, no matter what the analytics says, to be all three. It's just, it's very, very, very difficult. I mean, very few teams have been able to do that. Probably the closest would be the Harden Rockets teams that were dangerously close to winning. But, the mid-range is such a, inevitable part of good offenses.
Absolutely. Great question.
All right, here's another question from Dr. Dunks with 4 Z's on the end, on X. I mean, he's really Dr. Dunks. What game were you most on fire, NBA Jam style, and what's it feel like to be in the zone? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind for you, and this may not be the one you think, is that Detroit playoff game.
I mean, that's, what was that, 2006? No, I don't even remember. It was 2006 or 7, I believe, or maybe, 2006 or 7.
Early.
It was early in my career. Yeah, I think I was just 21. I think I was just 21 or 22. I was either 21 or 22, and that was the 27 in a row, the last 29 out of 30, in the Palace of Auburn Hills and versus unbelievable talented team. I believe that team had went to like the conference finals, like, I don't remember, some astronomical number. I think it was like 5-6 straight times or something like that. Can't remember, but they had so many great players.
Great defense.
Great defense, great complementary players. They just had it all. And I don't know how young this person is or how old this person is to ask this question, but they have to look up Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. I had this Bruce Leroy glow feeling around me that night that I could not even explain. Like the shots that I was making, I was taking shots that that either I had worked on, but I didn't log enough hours with some of those shots. Yeah, I've shot them before, but I didn't log enough hours to master them. But that night, I had a Bruce Leroy glow, man. That's the best way that's the best way I could describe it. I was in the zone, and I can't. If you ask anybody about what does it feel to be like in the zone, it's the most unexplainable thing. You can't explain it. You just can't. I just had a feeling.
That's a great point. Like it's hard to explain. Right? You just feel a connection to the ball, the floor, the net, the bucket,
everything.
The game. Like it just crazy confidence overcomes you.
Yep.
Which is a feeling, like you said. So, yeah, I would say for me, my career high was I had 48 in a playoff game at Dallas. They were playing me to score, so I had kind of one-on-one all night. And this just says something more about me, I think, is that we lost the game, playoff game in Dallas. Someone came up to me after, like, I don't know, just someone backstage who played hoops and was like, you had 48 in the last 3 minutes and you're trying to pass every possession. And so for me, like, I like to score when my team needed it, but I felt like I didn't need to always, I didn't want to score a ton unless I had to score a ton in that moment. I felt our team was healthier when it was a nice balance between scoring. But my whole game was built, I think, in a lot of ways, same as your game with just different ways, like on just paint pressure, rim pressure, just always a threat to get downhill. So for me, it was really about being aggressive. So sometimes you find those nights where you are in a zone, maybe you shoot a little bit more, but I think we're both similar in that way.
Yeah.
That I don't think either of us went out there saying like, if I get hot, I'm going for.
Yeah.
We were more like just trying to play within the confounds of our team's needs.
I agree.